welcome to Every Day is a Holiday. Hopefully you enjoyed our last video and thank you for joining us again. So in today's video, this is a part of a 5-part series to talk to you about our top 5 travel planning tips. And as a holiday, one of the things we try to do is enjoy our everyday lives. Whether you're going on a staycation, a daycation, or a vacation, you have come to the right channel. And so it's all about the world experiences that you get to have, and whether your world is small and at home or larger and you get a chance to explore everything that the world has to offer. And so today we're going to talk about one of my top travel planning tips. Hopefully in our last video you took our advice and wrote down your dream travel list and identified some of the experiences that you want to have. Please put in the comment section where your dream places are in the world. We'd love to hear about that, and we'll share some experiences on how you can actually travel to some of those places affordably. So my top travel tip for today is to budget. And that's a word most people don't like to hear, but oftentimes we can overspend when we go and travel. And it's one of those times where you don't want to travel and then figure out like, oh my God, I just rolled up my credit card. So our dream vacation and our budget may look very different. And so it's really important to make sure if you do take that dream vacation, or any vacation for any matter, that you actually have the right budget to do that vacation, so you don't have buyer's remorse, so you don't come back more stressed out from vacation than when you left. So a couple of things that people need to budget for, and some of these sound normal, you think of air and lodging, but oftentimes people forget the nuances and other things that they need to consider, and they can derail your budget. And so the first thing is your transportation. And so most oftentimes I do a lot of air travel, or used to do a lot of air travel, and you definitely need to accommodate, especially these days, for that in your budget. I mean, airfare used to be, for international at least, I could pay $600 to go to Portugal pre-COVID. That same ticket is about $1,500 to $1,800 today. Okay, so you need to consider your modes of transportation. And so whether that's air, whether that's rail, whether you're just driving and need to consider gas, whether you're renting a car, or even if you're just taking Ubers to wherever you're going. And most times people forget that once you actually get to some of these locations, that you're also going to need transportation. And in Europe, buses are super cheap. Uber is actually really well priced. You may want to rent a car. And also, if you're traveling in a multi-group, I find that renting a driver is one of the great ways to explore an island or explore a particular region and really get more of the culture. The other thing that I would say from a budget perspective that you need to consider is your food. And so unless you're going on a cruise, for the most part, you need to really consider your food. And it depends on how many meals you're going to eat in a day. You may find a hotel that actually includes breakfast or has light snacks, and so that may also help you to not spend your budget on food. But definitely budget out your food plan. And some places food can be quite expensive. Budget for your food. Don't be the person looking around and needs assistance and you've been eating and drinking the whole time, and now you have to figure out how you're going to pay for the food. Don't do that. So at the end of the day, make sure you budget for your meals. And then your hotel or your lodging, right? That's key. Your lodging, consider staying at hotels. Lots of places have local hotels, so you don't necessarily have to stay at a chain. And you may also get additional dollars or perks if you book outside of some of the brands, unless you are loyal to a particular brand. I sometimes will stay at Marriott's because I'm Marriott Platinum for life, and I also get some additional perks. So I try to stay at Marriott properties or Hilton where I have Diamond, but that's my preference. You may prefer Airbnbs. You may also prefer little small motels. It's really about traveling the way you want to travel, but you definitely want to keep those expenses in mind. And I actually look at a couple of different sites if I am going to not stay at a property. So Expedia and Travelzoo often have really good deals for hotel rooms, especially if you package it together with air, etc., and you don't mind not staying at a brand hotel. That's one great way to save and to kind of gauge what the pricing might be. So the other thing that I would say that I consider from a budgeting perspective is excursions. And sometimes people leave that part out. And so this is, where do you want to go when you actually get to your locations, regardless of the experience you're trying to have, whether it's water-based, whether it's cultural, whether it's food and wine is the experience that you want to have. You want to try to look at some of the excursions that are available ahead of time. I personally use a lot of Viator, but Travelzoo, Expedia even more so, also has lots of reviews, etc. And we're going to do a video on how to make sure you don't get stuck on the BS excursions, right? So there's lots of excursions out there. And what you may find, depending on the country, is that you probably could have done one excursion and gotten all of the experiences that you wanted for less than if you did all of these miniature excursions. And so we'll help you to be able to read through that. I personally don't like to do 10,000 photo stops or to get dropped off in the middle of a village and it's like, hey, shop for 2 or 3 hours. Now, I may want to do that, but I don't want to pay $100 for you to drop me off and shop on my own. I mean, that's just me. It's totally up to you, whatever it is that you like. I also want you to put in the comment section some of the experiences that you like. What do you like to do when you go on vacation? I personally am a foodie and I like to go to food and wine tastings and I like to see more of the culture. And so I tend to get a driver to kind of take me out to see some of those things. But you may be different, so let me know, and then we'll start to bring up some videos to kind of help you plan and to find ways, depending on the places, to enjoy some of those things. So the other thing that I would say that I do when I travel from a budget perspective is I will try to consider, maybe I need about $200 that is for incidentals. And these are some of the things that you didn't consider. And this is really good because there's times you'll go somewhere and you don't know about an experience until you actually maybe get there. And I'll give an example of when I went to Australia. And the easiest thing that we did is we went to the Opera House, and it was a wonderful experience. We had a chance to see them actually practicing and decided that we wanted to go to the opera. We were able to go, there were 3 of us. We were all able to go. It didn't break the budget because we had a couple of extra dollars that we had available. And I can't remember the price, but I do believe it was under $100. And it was a wonderful experience that we would have missed if we didn't put those extra budget dollars there. So definitely, when you consider your travel planning, remember you need to consider your air or transportation. You need to consider your lodging. You need to consider your food. You need to consider your excursions. And also, you need to consider how much incidental money you're going to need. And depending on your budget, you'll figure that out. The one thing I would say is that you still want to allow yourself some flexibility when you actually travel. But putting together this, what I'm going to call loose budget, is actually going to help you. But things like your lodging and your transportation and some of your excursions are things you can plan ahead of time and sometimes even do a payment plan on, buy now, pay later, which is great on Viator. You can do some of those things, and that'll help you to kind of at least have put your budget away or paid for things in advance. And then you can kind of be a little more flexible. So remember, putting together some sort of budget, even if it is a little loose, will help you to enjoy your trip, make sure you really don't overspend, and to make sure that you can get those experiences that you like. Thank you for joining me today on Every Day's a Holiday. And remember, whether it's a staycation, daycation, or vacation, you can enjoy yourself. Do something great for yourself today. And remember, in all your packing, pack your patience. You are definitely going to need it. Thank you. Bye-bye.